On this week's episode, we recap the 2026 NOAA conference in Columbus, Ohio.
The theme was Together We're Unlimited, Wicked, and Wizard of Oz. So much fun. We can't wait to tell you about it.
So stick around.
Hello, and welcome to Rare with Flair.
Of the podcast where two best friends with the same rare disease are living our best lives. I'm your host, Cassandra.
And I'm your host, Casey. I felt the need to flare that up a bit to make up for the lack of voice that we currently have.
Me more so than you, but even so, we are still recovering from NOAA. It happened days ago.
Fun fact, we were supposed to record this
I was
at
just
NOAA.
about to say that. we
thought we'd have time.
Every intention. And
did
not.
And we looked at each other on that last night and we said no. We said, I don't have the strength. We didn't even have the strength to talk to each other by the end, but I don't want to jump the gun here and go too far from where we're starting. But let's just say exhausting times, my friends.
So fun, but so exhausting. If you have been with us for some time, it's crazy. This is our third conference episode, third NOAACon episode. It sounds like not many, but they are every other year. So it's actually pretty exciting that this is our third one. That means we're, not to also get ahead of ourselves, we're closing the gap on our 6-year podiversary episode.
Yeah, we sure are, and we can't wait to talk more about that soon. But yeah, I can't believe it's been 3 conferences just on this pod because it is biennial. I just like that word.
It's a good word, biennial.
It's a good word. It is a little crazy.
We've done many a conference recap of other conferences. Of course, we have many Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome conference recaps. We've got a couple ATS ones. A couple, maybe one. Maybe. That being said, NOAA, I think, is special. It's got a special place in our hearts. Mm-hmm. And unlike ATS... And this one, oh, I'm so sorry. Keep going.
Please go ahead. No, unlike ATS,
I was just going to say that we thought that ATS had a busy schedule, but we didn't account for the fact that our schedules at ATS are identical. We're always doing the same thing.
Correct. At NOAA, it's not always identical. A lot of the time we were doing the same thing. Of course, we loved being together, and we're together most of the time, but it was still it was different enough to not let us have that time in the room to actually record the pod. But yeah, you wanna just jump into it, because I feel like if we give any life updates, the life updates would be
they're
going
all
to this conference.
Kind of NOAA related. Let's dig in.
This conference was especially special because it was in Cassandra's hometown of Columbus, Ohio.
Yay! It was very exciting. I felt an odd sense of pride when people would ask. Either I had a couple people reach out and say, like, what are fun things to do in Columbus? And I was like, oh my goodness. Local color is one of my special interests. So I was super excited to tell people about great places to check out. But also, I felt an odd sense of pride when people were like, oh yeah, how was your trip? And I was like, it was 15 minutes.
My mom actually, like a day or two before, was like, what time is Cass flying in? And I just looked at her and I was like, Mom. And she was like, oh yeah. So unlike Cass, I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to fly to NOAA. So I'm a little jealous. But I was so happy to be back in Columbus. As you guys remember, if you're longtime listeners of the pod, I went to Columbus back in 2023 to visit Cass, and it was so much fun.
So
and
magical.
I was really glad to get to come back. And I know I didn't get to spend as much time in the city this time, but it was still like a great place to be. Four. Sorry. My bad.
No.
Bad. 2024.
But still, I was like, wow, that sounds like forever ago. Okay, it was still a while ago, but not that far.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy still, though. I'm so glad you got to be back. And I obviously we joked that like we wish we had two lives. We have the life that we needed to absolutely be back. Like I needed to work. Case had a lot to take care of back home, but there's a part of me that is I don't know. Casey's still like having slumber party in my house, you know?
I wish. I do wish. Yeah. But anyway, I arrived on Thursday. This conference starts on Thursday, unlike the HPS conference that starts on Friday. And when I arrived at the hotel, Cass was not there because she was doing something super fun that I actually wish I could have been involved in.
So it was funny because I had to send Casey a voice memo. Her flight got delayed and even so, I don't know that we would have been around at the same time anyway. But I had to be like, hey, listen, Anaheim is in the room and he's watching Golden Girls.
I'm glad she told me, to be fair, because when I walked in the room, I heard voices and it would have kind of freaked me out a little if I hadn't known
Who
that the TV
is
was
that?
on. Who is that? Yeah.
It's her Golden Girls. But I had to leave him for this event when normally I would have him in the day because this was an adaptive sports extravaganza. It was super fun. It was called Ride, Climb, and Relax. And we did do all three of those things. The ride was with a local org called Adaptive Sports. I want to say Collective is the last. I know it's ASC, but I don't know the I forget the C at the moment.
Okay.
But I know of them. I don't know, like through work, actually, when we have done Global Accessibility Awareness Day, where I work, we had some local orgs come in this year, and one of them was Adaptive Sports Collective. So while I hadn't ever interacted with them fully before, I was excited to like officially meet them. And we did some adaptive cycling. So like I know how to ride a bike, but you know, balance is challenging, and also like it's just a lot less visual control because like we talked about on an episode before, by the time that my brain is able to load information, it has already happened.
Literally, yes.
So I'm a little scared to ride a bike because I also know that it can be really dangerous if you're in a biking accident.
Oh, yeah.
But these were really cool because they were recumbent tricycles. So
which sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, you would love it. You would have loved it, actually.
I would have loved it. I really would have.
You basically sit in a seat, and there is a seat belt you can wear, but you just pedal, and you've got 3 wheels, and it does take up a little more room, obviously, because you've got a seat, like a sitting seat, and not like a bike saddle.
Yeah.
And then the handlebars aren't on top like they are on a standard bicycle. They're sort of on your sides, and you just kind of move your arms with the handles, and the brakes are right there, and the gear shifts are also right there too. So it was really fun. I have to say, I don't know if I like to think that I could be sporty, like I could be athletic. And again, I know how to ride a regular bicycle. I don't know why, but I guess I was the only person who like rolled off the trail, and it wasn't very dramatic, but I had to be rescued slightly. Just kind of felt like rolled into some grass nearby. But we were on a paved trail around the Scioto Mile, which is this nice paved bike path around downtown and around the Scioto River. And it was super fun. But after that, I got directions shouted at me, which was extremely helpful because they were like, walk her on the left. So then I veered right. So, okay. It's just one of those things. I don't know if maybe because people with albinism has variable vision. I don't know if people had maybe better acuity or less light sensitivity than I did. Regardless, it's one of those things where just like a little bit more information was extremely helpful. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. To me, that doesn't sound like an athletic ability problem. It sounds more like a depth perception or sunlight problem, probably.
I think it was.
In your defense.
Yeah, it was a visual
in
challenge.
Your defense. Yeah, it doesn't sound like anything to do with the way you were riding the bike, but that sounds really fun. I wish I could have been there, actually.
It was a lot of fun. I was kind of sad when it was over, but as soon as it ended, we biked up to one of the bouldering gyms, and y'all know that I like to climb. I'm not as good as and competent at bouldering, but I try my best. And my friend / trainer, who like trains me in climbing and works for the gyms, I had told her like, hey, our group is gonna be there. There's gonna be like a handful of albinos, LOL. And it was really cool. They took such good care of us. They gave us some swag and sunglasses that said Block Garden on them, which was super cool.
So cute.
And like it was cool to see her, and she got to see some folks. It was wild though, because I told her about the pod, so I don't know if she might be listening. What's up, Liz?
Hello. What's up?
But it was wild because, you know, I don't know. We've had this discussion where kind of like to a much, much smaller degree, when you brought Grant to the HPS conference, it was like he saw the other you.
Yes.
It was wild because I've never really had a friend see me in the capacity that like the listeners see us, and anyone who's interacted with us at one of these conferences see us when we're like out here volunteering, talking to people, leading things. It's so funny because it's just to quote Hannah Montana, another side of me.
For me, it's the best of both worlds, baby.
It's the best of both worlds, if you will.
We are Hannah Montana. The disabled part is one part, and the other part's our other part.
Which, I do not know. But
yeah, we don't know.
It was a really good time. There was a brewery next door, and we got some snacks, and my friend took us, the girlies in the group, she took us to the hotel, and it was actually extremely nice of her, so we all appreciated a bonus ride. But it was super fun, and it was really nice to start off the weekend with something a little bit active and also something oddly familiar, just being in my city, you know.
Yeah, because that's like what you do. Like, and to get to show some of your friends with albinism that side of, not only show your friend Liz that side of you, but to show your albinism friends that side of you too. You're like showing both sides. It was
cool. Both sides now. That's Joni Mitchell and not Hannah Montana, but
it works too. It's appropriate as well. Thank you, all the female musicians, for giving us good lyrics to relate to this thing.
We love. Yeah. What were you up to once you got to the hotel?
What was I up to? I got there. I went to the room. I saw Anaheim. He was sleeping, so I actually didn't end up bothering him, and I was shocked he slept through me coming into the room. That was hilarious to me.
Huge.
Set my stuff down, went to go try to help with registration. Wasn't sure that I was being much of a help, to be honest. But then at that point, a friend of ours named Marlena called me because we were, like I said at the beginning of this, the theme was Together We're Unlimited. And being musical theater geeks, well, Marlena and I actually kind of helped pick this theme, to be honest, because Wicked. It's great. We love Wicked. And so we were doing this opening ceremony instead of one short day in the Emerald City. It was 3 short days in Columbus, Ohio, because
it was such a fun parody.
It was very fun. Donna Appel at the HPS Network, if you're longtime listeners to this pod, I think she holds the queen status of the parody. But Noah has maybe taken a page out of her book once or twice to do something like this. It's not quite, it doesn't have that Donna Appel flair quite as much, but still fun.
Didn't we do a Frozen one in 2022?
Yes. in 2022. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And that was funny because it was, not to get off topic to 2022, but it was for the first time in forever, which was funny because it was post-pandemic. So it really was like the first time we had seen each other in forever, which I'm pretty sure that, I mean, yeah, that conference lives on this pod somewhere. So you can go listen to that.
It absolutely does. I have a lot of episodes I have to link to the show notes, including basically every NoahCon episode, which is 2 hours.
And so I went to Marlena's room, and she had brought this. It was a Glenda costume, but it was very much like from the movie, like based on one of the dresses Ariana Grande wears. And I think it was like from Target or something, you know, like one of those costumes. But she brought it with a crown, and so we were like steaming it in her hotel room and catching up some. And she was going to go full green with her makeup, which honestly, a commitment.
Truly.
Glad it wasn't me, but I'm glad she wanted to take on that commitment. And so I left after catching up and practicing a little bit. And then she was like, I'm going to get green. And at that point, I met up with you, right?
I think our worlds collided at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, I came back and showered. And,
well, yeah, because you walked in the room and I was full, like, in a Glinda dress, and I was just like, hi.
What's up? Oh, I think actually before then, because I caught you right before the opening ceremony, I was tasked with doing something that I probably would do for the last time, which is a little bit sad, but not too sad.
Oh, yeah.
I know, it was wild. So I had been asked to lead a little young adults orientation. I thought it was for first timers, but actually there were a handful, quite a few people that I had known from previous conferences. And so I just had everyone introduce themselves, but break the ice a little bit. And it was super fun to have people open up and start getting to know each other. It was super brief, maybe 15 minutes of introductions, but just a fun way to kick things off and grab a quick dinner on my way to then run into you in the hotel room.
Yes. And I also want to throw in there real quick, we've got to mention that because this was a local event to Cassandra, it's in Ohio, her mom was able to come help out and volunteer. And I ended up seeing her mom a good bit before I saw you, like a few hours before I saw you. And we got to catch up a little bit. And so that was really, really fun to see her. And I was glad that it was very kind of her to come help because we need all the volunteers we can get, for these conferences, of course. And so that was very nice of her to help Noah.
It was extra fun / convenient because Casey and I shared a room at the hotel just for convenience. And my mom got to stay in my house, so then she was able to commute a pretty reasonable distance, but stay for free in my house, which is awesome.
Right.
And actually, we were trying to count how many cons she had also been to, and I think there's only one con that I've been to without her, not for any particular reason, but sometimes she just likes to come hang.
Yeah.
So it was a good time.
It was great. So we had the opening ceremony. It was a lot of fun. Marlena looked unrecognizable in her green.
You guys did so well. It was so good throughout the whole weekend, but of course, especially that night while they were still in costume, all the little kids were like, oh my goodness, the real Glinda and Elphaba.
It was super cute.
Adorable. She was like a celebrity.
It was super cute.
But Marlena.
Well, one of the funniest parts too was Marlena. Every time a child would come up to her, she'd have to be like, I have albinism too, because she was so green with a black wig.
She was like unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable. Some guy from like Face Off, who's local to Columbus, this makeup artist, he's been on the TV show Face Off, did her airbrush like makeup. It was like a big thing.
It looked incredible.
And it looked great. It did. It looked really good. Because sometimes you could just do green makeup where it just looks like costumey, very like you did it yourself. But it looked really profesh. And the kids were super, super cute, of course.
It's precious. And Marlena, we're happy to report, is not permanently green.
That's true. She was a little afraid because, our hair, it takes pigment very well. So we were afraid about the eyebrows. But I think she came away unscathed, which is great news. Great news
Absolutely.
for her. I'm trying to think of any other like moments from the opening. It wasn't like a super long opening ceremony, which is probably a good thing.
There were a
'Cause,
solid
you know,
handful of handful. There were a solid handful of people at this con. I wasn't sure how many people would come.
agreed. It seemed bigger than I was expecting, which
Me
is nice.
too. I was trying to set my expectations a little lower because I know that the turnout for the HPS con was a little bit smaller this year than in previous years. But didn't we have like 700 people?
Yeah, 700 about, which is actually a little smaller than previous years, but still quite a lot.
Still a decent turnout. I was worried it would be maybe 500, which is still larger than the HPS conference.
Yeah. No, it was nice, and you know what? The hotel was great, and it was the best ballroom I feel like we've had in a hotel in quite a while. I just really liked the space. It was a lot of tables. It was spread out enough where we felt like we had breathing room, and that was nice. Because every hotel is just so different. You got to learn it.
Oh, true. And it did take some time because there were 2 towers, so there was a lot of back and forth on the Sky Bridge. But the food in the Hilton downtown, I gotta say, is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it really
Probably
was.
the best hotel food I've had.
I agree. I can't think of any right now that are better. Like, it was really good.
It was really
good food. Really good food.
In the evening, it was sort of a free-form social time, and I used this opportunity to have a little doggy play date.
Yes.
So I found my good friend Bianca and her black lab guide dog Bailey from the Guide Dog Foundation. And Bianca and Bailey are low-key a little bit famous. They were involved in a GDF campaign, and they made a drink after Bailey, which is cool.
I forgot about this. That's really cool. Yeah,
it's really cool. It was like an espresso martini type thing with a Bailey's in it. Haha. And I got to meet someone I had never met before but had talked to. One of our listeners and now my friend Kaylin from Canada, who just got his very first guide dog in May from Guide Dogs for the Blind in Oregon. And Nutmeg is the teeniest, weeniest little black lab girly. Of course,
you have to tell what you were calling the picture you took of the three of them.
So the 3 of these dogs together, I kept calling them Tall, Grande, and Venti. Because
literally,
because actually,
exactly
like
it.
We put them in size order in front of a step and repeat with the Noah logo, and they looked so perfect. I die. And there were quite a few guide dog handlers at this con. It was exciting to see.
The most I've ever seen at one con.
I think so, and even the most cane usage I've ever seen. Just because
I agree. Yeah.
Visual acuities vary, and also personal preferences vary on mobility tools in the community. So, people have decided what works for them, but it's cool to see more people opening up to the idea of using tools, even though that's like totally a personal decision. But
yeah,
it was fun. We found an empty room and we let all 3 dogs off harness, and it was just a blur of black.
So cute. So cute. Yeah, they're all 3 adorable black labs. So cute. While she was doing that, so this this conference took place in 2 towers of a hotel. The conference was in one tower, but a lot of people were staying in the other tower. And there was a beautiful sky bridge connecting the 2 towers. And at night, it lights up. And so Marlena and I were still dressed up in our Glinda and Elphaba garb. And so she was like, it lights up green. We've got to go take pictures. So while Cass was having doggy playtime, we went and took some pictures on that bridge, and it was kind of funny because people were like walking by and we looked ridiculous. But you just got to laugh when you're at these conferences and they make you do very strange things, and you're just like, okay, this is what I signed up for. This is what we're here for. But I'm glad we did it because even though I was tired, we did get some really cute pics. And then I went back up to the room. I think before you weren't too long after me, but I went ahead and went back to the room after that.
Yeah. I think to your point of strange things, but you just do them. When you're in the conference bubble, all of a sudden, that is the most important thing that you can do right
It's
now.
so true, isn't it? It's so true.
It's so silly to think about in hindsight. It's like, okay, we're going to wait until this bridge turns green and then we're going to
Literally.
take a picture. But like in the moment, that's
In the
everything
moment.
you want to do.
That's everything. You forget you have a life. Like, I got home today and I was like, oh, I have emails to answer? What?
Gross.
I have things to do. Gross.
It's absolutely wild. I love a good conference bubble. Of course, we always
I
have
do
to
too.
come back to reality, but there's truly nothing like the
Yeah,
joy.
you are leaving reality for a moment in time.
Yeah.
And that's quite fun.
It's like
quite
going to Disney, but in our own little bubble of our condition where people pretty much understand you.
Yeah. So Friday,
Our
we woke
morning
up bright
started
and
off
early.
the same.
Yup. We had a session to host with the tweens. The tweens.
It was super fun because the volunteer who coordinates the kids conference, she's honestly brilliant. She's really good at what she does and extremely organized. She listens to our pod and she loved how we talk about making vision boards. And she said back, like a year ago, I want to say, or more, when they were in Columbus for kind of a meet the board event, I had seen her and she said, hey, what if you guys led some kind of a vision board making activity with some of the kids? And it ended up being the tweens.
And we loved that idea. Kimberly is her name, and she's a true artist at heart. So anything artistic, she's down to do, and we are too. And so Cass very lovingly gathered a lot of magazines, as many as she could, because print media be dying. So it's hard to gather magazines.
It is so hard to find magazines. I asked in so many different places, and it was tough.
But you did a good job finding an array of different magazines. And then Noah kindly provided us the rest of the stuff, like paper, glue sticks, scissors, all that. And we kind of just explained the way we explain vision boards on the pod when we talk about it. You know, they're a way to set your goals, your visions of what you want. And seeing it every day is helpful to kind of, you know, reach those dreams, if you will. But it was kind of fun because we got to hear what their goals are. Like, some of them were like, I want to run a 5K. I want to be a doctor. I want to, like, big things. And some were smaller things. Like, I want to wear a cute outfit like this girl in this magazine or whatever. But we walked around and kind of helped them out. And I hope they liked it. It's hard to tell with that age group is a little bit too cool for school.
They really
like
are.
They're like middle school, and they're kind of like,
I felt like we kept
I don't know,
telling jokes and like crickets.
And they weren't laughing. Crickets. I was like, are we embarrassing?
Are we really cringe? Okay.
Are we cringe? But they were still sweet, overall. And it was, I think it went well.
And if nothing else, it was cool because later on we ended up talking to a mom of one of the kids who was in that room. There were like 60 kids in that room. It was pretty big.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And she was like, oh, do you know, we told her that we had done this activity. She said, do you know if they, were socializing? Because when I dropped off my kid, they were like silently sitting around tables, like not really engaging with each other. So truly, if nothing else, it was just a really easy way to get people talking to each other because
when they weren't silent at
it
all.
Was loud.
Yeah, which is actually a good thing because that means they were warming up to each other. Which
is cool because this was the first officially programmed event, so it felt kind of like an honor to be able to kick off their conference.
It off. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
After that, we headed over to the HPS booth. We have a little tiny exhibit hall in NOAA. Some years it's bigger than others. It really just depends. But this year, it was in one of the hallways. And the HPS Network always has a booth. And in true fashion, especially since we're such experts from our ATS training, truly, we sat at the table. No one was really there at the table, so we staffed it for as long as we could and hung out, and it was pretty chill.
Because Donna Appel, who is supposed to be at the table, she's asked to do a million things. She's a board member at NOAA, and she was on a lot of panels that day. And so she was like, I need your help. I can't run the table, the booth. And so that was something we chose to help with. And it's always fun to talk to people. And, we hope, it's kind of like what we said with this pod. We hope if we can even help one person sitting at that booth. Someone came up to me. I don't know if you heard this, Cass, if you were sitting there at the time, but someone came up to us and they said, have people actually gotten diagnosed with HPS from this booth
I was there,
here?
Yes.
Were you there? Okay, yeah. And we were like, yeah, actually,
Very much
and
so.
even if it's just one person, like, I think it's worthwhile,
And for those less familiar with this side and corner of our world, obviously we've explained that albinism is a symptom of Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome.
Yeah.
We have other additional complications that we've talked about before, but not everyone who has albinism has Hermansky-Pudlak syndrome. And so one of the biggest things that we try to do when we're at NOAA sort of representing the HPS network is making sure that people try to get themselves genetically tested if they have albinism, but they don't know what kind, because it's important to know, like, do you have HPS or not?
Yeah. And our booth was set up right next to Pilot Dogs, which is a guide dog school. And so there were a lot of dogs present, and Anaheim was being a very good boy, getting involved. He was being very good. I'm sure it was actually quite tempting because they were like 4 dogs just like up and not running, but like, up and walking and playing and
getting pet
getting pet.
At a certain point, before I had to leave for something else, I gave him some time to socialize with the doggy friends that were right in front of us, because that would have been cruel and unusual if not.
Exactly.
But while he was in harness, he was a perfect boy.
Perfect boy.
After
go ahead,
our booth time and we grabbed lunch in between, I had a panel that I was a part of that I've done previously at NOAACon. I think I did it last year for sure, or last con. See, we always do this because it's every other year. It feels like
I always say last year. Every time.
Understand when we say that, it of course means last con, but
2 years
anywho,
ago. Yeah.
At the 2024 Orange County Con, I was part of this panel, and I think I may have done this previously, but I simply can't remember. It is called My MO for O&M. The moderator for this panel is also a guide dog user, and he is from Ohio. He doesn't currently live here anymore, but he's asked me to be one of the panelists. It's a really cool session. I have always liked it because the panelists, some of us rotate. Usually I have been on it a couple times, and Ashley Appel, who is obviously the poster child spokeswoman from the HPS network, who uses a cane full time. But the idea is trying to cover the spectrum of mobility tools and their usage. And usually the moderator, Bill, gets someone who either uses a cane maybe part-time or not at all, and kind of gets them to explain why they choose not to use a cane, and then why we might use tools. And this year we had a couple people who didn't use tools or use them rather selectively, and it's just such a good conversation, because in this gray area of having limited vision but still some vision, it's just so nuanced. My mom was telling me, she was like, this year at NOAA, I was just trying to observe and just watching the ways that you guys interact with each other and the world around you, and just how impossible it is to explain this middle ground of vision and lack of vision. And so literally we've had a podcast for 6 years and we're still talking about it.
We're still talking about it. Yeah. Yeah. So no, the panel was great. I actually went and sat in it to support and just to hear, because it's always a great time. It's a good panel, and you all did a really, really fantastic job. And I think it is really good to have all the different perspectives of like Kane, guide, not using tools, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really, really good session.
And like we've said on this pod, unfortunately, no matter what you choose to do, nothing, selective usage, cane or guide dog, you're gonna get scrutiny from every side. There is honestly no winning. There's always something that's gonna be inherently quote unquote weird about what you're doing in every situation.
Definitely.
But
Absolutely.
You kind of just got to lean in and pick what's best for you and your lifestyle. And for me, I'm always happy to talk about guide dogism, as I think you framed it in one of our episodes early on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. After that, we had a choir rehearsal. So if you've listened to NOAA conference episodes in the past, we have been doing this now for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 conferences, I want to say. I wasn't even involved in the first one. I don't think you were either.
2018 was the first one, and I wasn't at that con.
We weren't there, but Marlena Barber, same person who played Elphaba, runs it. She's been a choir director for many, many years, and so we chose the song, or not we, but she chose the song For Good from Wicked, of course. And Caroline Venn, our resident pianist, who did this last year, she is an adorable very talented 18-year-old who goes to school for piano. So clearly she's going to be our pianist, our accompaniment. And I will say, like, Cass, like, this song was much harder than our last few choirs we've had, especially those baritones. I got to give it up to them. Cass and I were sopranos, so we had it easy.
Yeah, we had the melody the whole time. It was easy. But yeah, boy, the baritones, they had a tough hand dealt to them. That harmony was not at all intuitive. And
they did really, really well too.
They pulled it out, but it was tough. And even the altos had some tricky bits in there. So we were mostly sitting around vibing, as is the soprano way. But
of course,
but it was good.
Yeah.
We managed right. It's always cute to see that there's a good amount of interest from the community. It's also cool to see this choir made up of entirely persons with albinism.
Yeah, really cool.
Really fun. But it's quite long, because Friday and Saturday we've got like a 2-hour rehearsal each day at the end of what's already quite a long day. So by the time rehearsal's over, I am starving and also hangry.
Yes. So we were like, we must eat. So we got some din-din, and like Cass said earlier, the hotel food was actually fantastic.
Oh, and guys, we have to talk about the friggin' wildfires.
Yeah.
Because Friday was the day of the worst air quality I have ever experienced in my life.
So bad that we did not leave the hotel, but Cass had to leave briefly to let Anaheim out, and even then she couldn't breathe.
I thought that I was gonna die. Like, it was wild. I
terrifying.
thought when you walk outside and there's a lot of humidity, it's already hard to breathe, and that's kind of how I felt. But when I came back inside from being outside for maybe 5 minutes to relieve Anaheim, oh my goodness, I felt I was feeling it, and I wonder if that contributed to me losing my voice a little bit more. Just because
it could have.
It was rough out there. Oh, and the hotel smelled like barbecue because of the smoke.
It did. It smelled like smoke. It's scary. And so we decided to eat at the hotel instead of leaving, which totally worked out, like we said, because the food was actually fantastic.
Was really good.
But we weren't going to leave. And that's okay, because at conferences, typically, you don't, that's kind of the joke about a conference, is like, you don't leave the hotel. Like, you're just at the hotel. That's the conference. That's where it is. And we did end up leaving later, but we'll get to that. But yeah, Friday was the worst of it. It luckily got a little better after that.
Yeah. But we had some din-din with a big crew from HPS. Well, not a big crew, but like a medium-sized crew from the HPS.
Medium-sized.
And girl, I don't know if you felt this. So we always say that the HPS crew is like family, and every time we go to an HPS conference is like family reunion, and it's a more intimate group because it's a more rare disease. But so Noah is like our friends, right? And we love our friends with albinism. It's such a treat to get to see them every other year. But sitting down to have dinner with the HPS people, I felt just all of a sudden this sense of comfort came over.
It's like putting on an old sweater that you've
had for
years.
I'm like, and we totally have new people that join the HPS crew on and off, but there's something just so comforting about feeling like I can I can relax because I'm basically family.
You don't have to be like on. I completely feel that. I totally feel that. Like you don't have to be totally on.
Such
and
a treat.
Really nice. Really nice. One of the highlights of the conference for me was actually the next thing we did. So we did, well, unless there was something before this that I'm forgetting, but on Friday night, we did trivia night. And I'm really, really glad I stayed up for it because it does go till almost 12:30 a.m., and that is not my style. Like, I'm normally like, I need sleep. But I'm really glad that I pushed it and went because it really was one of the most fun times that we had all weekend, I think. At least for me, I think
such a blast really because it builds so much camaraderie.
It does. And Cass and I were on the same team. And I want to say we had like 15 people on our team.
We had a really big team.
But to be fair, all the other teams were big too because we were all at these large circular tables. And so all the other teams, I was looking around, they were all pretty big too at these large circular tables. And our team was called White Lies.
It was such a good name, girl.
Thank you. I came up with it. I was trying to think of anything white for albinism, but it lasted. It went so late, and like these questions were not easy, which is fun because if that trivia is too easy, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah,
but,
and it wasn't unreasonably hard either. There were some that came instantly to us, but we were thinking.
Yes. Yeah, and we had some like real smart people on our team.
Oh yeah,
and we still did not do.
We still like tied for third.
We tied for third, but you know the judges of the trivia were like three or four moms that we know and love very dearly, and we were just they were tired. I think maybe a few drinks in their system, so it was just hilarious.
They
like
were so
the way they were
funny.
scoring.
They were really sassy about it. Like.
It was really funny, and it was hosted by people with albinism. It was just like all people with albinism just cutting a rug. Like, it was really fun.
So delightful. I saw some feedback online. Someone was like,
oh, you did?
Can we make this start earlier so it ends earlier?
I hear that because when we were walking back up to the room, Donna was like, oh, I'm getting in bed immediately. Like, don't say a word to me. And I had to be up pretty early the next morning for a staff breakfast. And so I was a little bit anxious about that too. I was like, oh gosh, did I make a mistake here?
We went to bed as quickly as we could, but we did. It still was like 1 a.m. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why we did not have time to record anything for the pod, you guys, because it was truly like this the whole time. So yeah, that next morning I got up for this staff breakfast. So Cass was still in the room. Yeah. And then directly after that, I hosted a session. So at NOAA, I'm the virtual program coordinator, and I do all of their NOAA Connections calls.
She's so fancy.
Which are just Zoom calls. And I did a whole session about it, kind of asking, like, talking about the different calls we have and telling about our different task forces we have, if anyone wanted to volunteer to join them, that kind of thing. And Cass came in toward, like, the last third of it probably and saw the Q&A, a bit of the Q&A portion. And then
Case did a really good job facilitating that session.
Thank you. And your mom moderated, so that was very nice. Like, her mom introduced me and helped out, and so that was very nice. And then we had an HPS panel right after in the same room, and so I was like begging everyone that came to stay for the HPS panel as they all get up and walk away. Kelsey Thompson, got to give a shout out to Kelsey who stayed. Thank you, Kelsey, if you're listening.
I know. We appreciate her and a handful of our friends from the albinism crew did end up coming, which was sweet.
That's true.
Aforementioned Kalen with Guide Dog, he came to rally and support, and one of our friends, Esther. It was cool. It was nice to see, well, not really, but not until the very end, see, quote unquote, some familiar faces. But it was so cool. I loved doing this panel. There were 6 of us with HPS, and I wasn't sure how it would go because, you know, some of us, myself included, we could be yappers, but Donna, our HPS fearless leader, executive director, did a really good job of trying to keep everybody on task and constrained. So we each had kind of like 2 minutes to introduce ourselves and tell our diagnosis stories, and then each of us talked about one aspect of this very like multi-system disease, and I think everyone did just such a good job.
It really was another highlight of the conference for me, and Donna kept saying over and over how great it was, and you could just feel that it was, like, not to toot our own horn, but you could feel the way we were playing off of each other, the way we all spoke and connected, and we all had different things to speak about and say, and nobody took too much time or not enough. I think we all like had our little moments, and it was funny, it was sad, it was important, but it was lighthearted also. It was just like, I don't know, I wish more people had been there. I think it was actually really one of the more informative sessions we've ever done, truly.
And it really was funny. Like, a lot of us were, you know, and it's that trauma humor, guys. But we were like, we were cracking all kinds of jokes. It was delightful. And we had a very good breadth of experiences to share and unique diagnostic stories too. So it was so good. I really hope that next con, because I'm, you know, it's a recurring panel. I've done it in previous years too. I really hope that we get more folks, if nothing else, just to learn. But our friend Kelsey, that Casey gave a shout out to, she asked the question that, of course, we all love of how can people with albinism who don't have HPS be good supports? And we're like, just, you know, keep spreading the word, keep spreading awareness, and get yourself tested.
Yep. So that was great. After that, I went straight over to another panel about NOAA camp. So every other year on the off year of the conference, NOAA holds a family camp. I went one of the years as staff, and it was actually like such a fun, lovely experience. And so they asked me to just like come on the panel. It was a panel of 4 of us. We talked about camp. We mainly answered questions from the audience. It was a lot of people there were like prospective camp attendees, you know, just asking questions about how it works. Because it's clearly very different than the conference and less structured. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But it went well. And didn't you go to the booth at that point again?
I went to the booth. It was super chill. I would just socialize with a bunch of people, saw some folks I hadn't seen around, made some new friends. It was a good time.
Yeah. Then after that, of course, we had a choir rehearsal again. And this time we had to do our best because we don't have another rehearsal after this other than like the morning of one more time, you know. So we were trying our best, and we think we were pulling it together, you know. Like the best. Yeah, when you're in it, it's hard to hear it. You know, we were just like, we hope it's good.
Yeah, right. And I think it really was coming together. I think people were feeling a lot more confident about it toward the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
All this time, I have to interject and say that Marlena, who Casey's mentioned as our choir director and Alphaba, and another of our albinism friends, Jackie, and myself were planning a bridal shower for Casey.
Yes. Which was so kind and nice.
It was Jackie's idea, but of course it was exciting to come on board. And as someone who's local, I know the area and I know local businesses. So it made a lot of sense. And also just because she's my bestie, made a lot of sense to help plan this. So we've been planning this for some months.
Actually,
probably since February.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I was at CISA and I was making calls. So
That's so nice.
Anyway, it was really fun because we had this plan as the gift for the shower to put together a little book, kind of like a guest book plus, when people come to some event and they write some nice words, advice, things that they want you to know, well wishes. We wanted to do that, but I had remembered that I've had for since I think 2020, early 2020, I've had an Instax camera that mostly sits as a decoration on one of my shelves in the living room. But I was like, oh my gosh, I have a Polaroid camera. It would be so cute to have pictures of Case with people that, she invited. And of course, Casey is well loved in the NOAA community, especially because she facilitates a lot of these community calls. Everybody knows her. Everybody's seen her face and heard her voice, and people listen to this pod too. So a lot of Friday but also Saturday and Sunday, I was trying to run around and catch people and grab Casey and be like, take a picture with them, please.
Yes. Take a picture. Yeah, especially we were trying to get pictures of the people who were invited but weren't able to come to the shower to put them in the book. And honestly, the Polaroid camera was a perfect idea. It just made it look so like handmade and like special and girl. Like it's like it girlhood,
so girlhood.
In a book.
Scrapbooking.
It was so girlhood. Scrapbooking, and some of the film that Cass used was pink, which just made it even better. And we'll get to that part too a little later, but I'm glad you mentioned it because like during the whole conference we were like trying to grab people.
Honestly,
like,
I think of choir rehearsal and I think of like trying to nab people after it.
That's
be like,
actually
can I grab a picture?
So fair. That is so true. That is so true. Yeah, so that was awesome, and like I said, we'll circle back. We
will. But I got to feel like Rick Wadati, who we've mentioned on past conference episodes, who we've talked about positive exposure and his org, and how he's a former fashion photographer, and now comes and especially to NOAA, but often to HPS as well, and many, many, many other rare genetic diseases conferences, and takes pictures and just is the ultimate hype man.
Absolutely.
And I got a Polaroid of him, which I felt honored
of
by.
him with me, which was so nice. I'm so glad that's in there. After choir rehearsal, we were like, we think the air is clear enough for us to walk outside,
Ooh.
Ooh. And you guys may or may not know that Italian food is my favorite type of food.
Oh, we love Italian.
It. We love it. And we went to this, we got a group together. I don't even know who like kind of made this group, but it just kind of happened.
It was HPS Crew Plus,
HPS Plus, yes.
Yeah.
And we got this group together and went to this Italian place, big long table, and it was so good. Like, oh my gosh, the food was so good.
The food was awesome. The drinks were awesome.
Yeah, it was a vibe. It was a great time. It was so much fun. It was sort of a highlight for me, just sitting at that long table. Yeah, again, feeling that like cozy family feel. I agree. It was really fun. Like I felt that there too, of that I can take a breath and just be with my family kind of thing. And directly after that was the big, so every time on Saturday night, NOAA has a dessert gala reception.
Thing.
Yeah, reception's a better word. Dessert reception with a large silent auction and a dance.
I will say, I didn't even get to dance this year.
I didn't either.
Isn't that such a bummer?
It's a little sad.
I chit-chatted, like I socialized. I tried to grab more pictures of people that weren't going to be at Casey's shower. But also, I pulled aside the other shower coordinators and we were doing like a little bit of planning there too. But I still, again, got to hang out with some folks, which was delightful. And you headed up early.
Yeah. I did. I went down. I kind of glanced at the silent auction. It looked interesting, but I wasn't going to bid on anything this year, actually. I just, I knew I had my suitcase was full kind of thing. I was just like, that's fine.
It was a really cute doll that was garnering a lot of attention.
Yeah,
though. What was
which
it?
I should have got, which I should have tried to get because, I forget what brand it was. Rainbow Valley or something, or Rainbow High or something.
Yeah, Rainbow High. That's it.
Rainbow High. I really, I collect blind dolls, so I really should have gone for it. But I ended up turning in before the auction was even over, so it probably ended up for the best. I was just exhausted, and we all were. But like, I feel like the trivia night was the night that I was like my out late night, and so I don't know. The dancing just wasn't. Not many people were out there, and I normally like dancing, but I was like, well, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah. And honestly, I that doll was really cute though. She looked like she had albinism. She had like blonde white platinum hair and glasses and a bunch of other accessories that felt very appropriate for branding it as albinism doll.
yeah, that's awesome.
It was really cute, but we had such an early call time for the choir the next morning that even
that's right.
I was looking at my clock and being like, okay, it's almost midnight. I'm gonna go. I can't do this.
Yeah. So like Cass said, we had to be there at 8 a.m. for the choir. So that means we had to get up a good bit earlier than that to fully get ready to maybe we didn't have to go back to eat because that was after choir, but still had to get fully ready. We went down for choir rehearsal and we all wore pink, green, and black for Wicked, of course, obviously. And we practiced, we ate breakfast once again, hotel food, rocking it. The eggs were the best hotel eggs I've ever had in my life.
They were so creamy, so good. And this is our closing ceremony Sunday morning. It's like a few hours. We do the choir. And we had a lot of people, like different NOAA staff, either leaving NOAA or some people had passed away. And so we had quite a few memorial / thank yous to those people. And then we always announce our next conference location too. So fun. So back in, I don't want to say this as if it's not currently, but back in what I considered Noah's heyday was, of course, when I was a teen, probably because I have nostalgic feelings for it. When I started going to Noah conferences, I was 13 years old. So I'm really glad I did and got to see it from many, many different sides. And our former executive director, who has since actually passed, Mike McGowan, was sort of notorious, and it was very important to him to do like a silly little video to announce the next conference. And they were so memorable. They played a montage of the old videos, and I remember seeing them. Like, I was there for all of them.
I do too. Maybe not all of them for me, but I remember quite a few of them. Yeah.
They were awesome. They were iconic. And then they did a little video to announce the next con location, which is
Baltimore.
Woo! It's always really fun to see what they pick. And I'm actually pretty excited because, again, Baltimore, probably a little bit larger, but it feels a little like a Columbus, where people are like, what is even there to do in Baltimore, So justice for the unsung cities. I'm always really excited to check out somewhere new. And this year, the coordinators, Nick and Rebecca, who are also local to Columbus, they really wanted, especially off-site activities, to be more in the city, because one of my favorite things as a teenager when I was involved at NOAA conferences was that we got out in the city. We went to some museum, or maybe we took local public transit somewhere, and we went to a mall, and we all shared sunscreen in Washington, D.C., and it was just really fun and very memorable, and it felt very active too. But the adults, we go to sessions. A lot of us who've been around for a while, we volunteer, but we don't leave the hotel. So this year they had a lot more external sort of, or at least outside of the hotel, social activities.
Yes.
So I'm really hoping that trend continues into Baltimore. That way we get to enjoy and appreciate the city that we're in a little bit more.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I think the closing ceremony went very well. It was very
fun.
Very, very fun.
In addition to Noah Camp for the families and the off year of conference. So conferences always happen on even years, and then in the odd years they have Noah Camp, and then for the adults, Adult Weekend in the fall, which you've been to several of.
Yes. And that was also announced. And now I'm trying to think. Louisville, Kentucky. I was like,
I'm actually pretty excited. I'm sort of tempted to go to this Adult Weekend just because I was just in Louisville in April with my parents doing a little Bourbon Trail experience.
Right.
And I remember being there in April and thinking like, wow, this is such a cute city. Like,
yeah,
I wish I could see more of it. And I'm like, Adult Weekend.
There
perhaps.
you go. Maybe so. Perhaps. Perhaps. So that's very exciting.
Afterward, I ran around and took as many pictures as I could.
Yes.
And we packed, and it was time to switch gears into shower mode. We had a little lunch.
Shower mode.
And maybe the best chicken wings I've ever eaten.
Ever had. I'm going to dream about it forever.
Oh
we had chicken wings. They were so crispy. And the chicken was so
juicy and melty.
Like, good. It was incredible.
Amazing.
So good. Cass and the other ladies left to go decorate. And Cass's mom very lovingly was helping drive all of us back and forth from the hotel to the shower spot, which was so helpful and so great. And so I kind of hung out in the hotel for a bit, talked to some of our friends while you were going and decorating.
It was cute because we had to pick something up at my house before heading to the shower. We had ordered some balloons to make the whole area a little bit more festive, and I got to give the other two, Marlena and Jackie, a little tour of my condo, which was a lot of fun. And it was so delightful. I really loved the place where we had the shower.
Oh my gosh.
I've been there a lot before because, again, I'm local. And it's this French bakery called Le Chatelon. Locals will know. It's pretty iconic. They have a few locations around Columbus. But, of course, you know, there's one that is more near and dear to my heart. And I don't know if it's the original, actually. It might be. It might be the original one. And then they since opened up a few other ones around the city. But it's super cool. And I had worked with them to have the room set aside and order some food for our guests. And they were so sweet. The staff was absolutely delightful. They even helped us set up a little bit, which was completely unexpected. All they really had to do was put out the food and show us the room, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But they were so sweet. And I don't think I told you this, but they did hit one of the Albinism bingo cards. They were like, so are you all sister?
Yeah. We get that all the time.
Ideal. Every time we're together.
That's cute. Yes. It was, I'm not exaggerating, like one of the most adorable places I've ever set foot in my life, this place. Even just the outside of it had this fountain and these like flower boxes, and you're just immediately like, this is the cutest place. And then you walk in, and the private room we had it in looks like a castle, like just like so wooden beams. Like the door was like a arched door with stone. It had books everywhere, and this like was already like without the adorable decor that you guys also added. You know, that's just how it naturally is. And then they had added the cutest decor. It was like Wicked themed, like Wickedly Wed was the theme. And so it had, you guys put up like pink and green bows and flowers.
Marlena did a ton of work getting that decoration, and she got some cute favors. She really
yes.
She went hard. And Marlena's a mom, but she's not just a mom. I feel like she's one of the most crafty, creative people I know.
She's very crafty. Yeah, agreed. And she loves that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like she in another life she could be a party planner, I think.
Party planner.
She just has such a vision for it.
Yes, and the loveliest group came. You know, like we had invited some other people who couldn't end up coming, and I'm sad they, you know, like we miss them and we love them and everything, but like the people who did end up coming, like it felt so, I don't know if you felt this, like girlhood.
It was so girl.
We were all wearing like Easter type dresses, like we all got the memo. It was like pastels or just like I mean, there were some people in like nice floral blouses, but it was all like Easter spring looking, even though we're not in the spring, we're in the summer, but it was all like just really like, it felt very like, it felt like some kind of Easter brunch or something that we were having, or some kind of like tea party or something, which is like the vibe.
Very the vibe.
We played games, we took pictures, we just had so much fun, and I'm really, really just so grateful for anybody who took the time out. I'm so grateful, first of all, for you three for throwing this, but also just anyone who took the time out. And I know technically it was a shower for me, but I hope everybody like enjoyed their time and had fun. And it's extra time for us to be with our albinism friends, and that's kind of what it felt like, you know, just an extra few hours to be like not really in conference mode, because when you're in conference mode you're kind of always like have your volunteer or working hat on a little bit. So this felt a little bit more like just being friends, like out in a city, and it was like a memory I'll never forget. It was just so
it was so blast. We
did a really fun game.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say there was so much joy. And one of the girls in the group chat afterward was like, I wish that we all lived closer to each other so we could do this kind of thing all the time, because
all the time. Agreed.
It's such a truly a luxury, and it was, of course, we were like honored and excited to celebrate you as a bride, but it was also just really fun to, like you said, spend more time together and truly like do something that we probably won't really be able to do. It was a great excuse to gather.
Yes, it was, and the time just flew by. We had the place for a decent chunk of time, but still, it's just like we could have just kept talking and hanging out because we love each other so much. And we played some really fun games, but one of the ones that stood out was the ladies brought toilet paper from the hotel, and we had 4 groups of 2 for teams, and they had to make a wedding dress, and Marlena and Cassandra were together. And it was funny because I chose them as the winners because I truly thought that their dress was the winning dress, but I was like, people are probably going to think I'm just choosing them because like they're like my closest friends, but I love everybody there.
Honored to have won the prize, truly. I have to tell you, this is like so disability, okay? So Marlena is super crafty, and she and I were like trying to be calm but work fast. So I was the model, so she was putting toilet paper around me, and my contribution was that I made these flowers out of toilet paper, and
they were pretty amazing.
You know why I know how to do that?
But you need to tell the pod.
Okay, so yeah, when I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, I was a teenager and I was still being seen at Children's Hospital, and my pediatric GI gave me this, I think, or one of the nurses or someone in that office, they gave me this book called Toilet Paper Flowers, and it's about a girl who gets diagnosed with Crohn's, and of course as a GI disease she spent a lot of time in the bathroom, and she wanted to make something really beautiful with her extra time that she was captive audience, and she started making flowers out of toilet paper, and they had this tutorial in the end of the book. It was a pretty picture book, and they teach you how to make them, and you just kind of lay squares on top of one another and at different angles, and then you just pinch them at the bottom and it looks like a little flower. So that was my contribution, and I was like, you know what, HPS helps me win this challenge. That, I
mean, honestly, that did push it over the edge. It really did. The flowers really did something. It was really great.
Honored to
So
share my
it was just-
expertise.
and we've got to point out real quick too that this restaurant is also haunted.
It's haunted.
Which, if you know anything about me, is right up my alley. I love a ghost tour. I love a ghost story. And the ghost's name is Mr. Bun. And if you know also anything about me, my dog's nickname is Bun or Bunny, and I call him Bun. And so I thought that was really, really funny that that's the ghost's name.
So funny. I later had to dig up where this restaurant
the article.
talked about it. I think one of their other locations is apparently also haunted. Bonus.
Oh, well, okay.
I know. They really be finding all these
They're greedy.
ghosty buildings.
The ghosts.
But yeah, it's crazy, and apparently he'll like right in that area where we were, not exactly in that room, but there was a small bar area leading into our little private area. He loves to hang out there and apparently flicker the lights.
Yeah. Ooh. Creepy. Yeah, so it was just like the best.
So
and
fun.
Another so fun thing was after that, I got to stay with Cass at her condo.
Yay.
Because we were in her city. And Donna and Ashley from the HPS Network got to come over and see her place, which was so fun to like. I mean, I wasn't giving them the tour, but I felt like I was because I know your place as well as you do at this point. I feel like just because of like FaceTime and just
right,
you know.
and
so
I
felt
there before anyway,
and having been there before, so it felt fun for me to see them see it. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and look at the backsplash.
well, it was so
just, like,
fun.
really
I really wish I could have given everyone who was at the shower house tour.
I know, right?
I
Do
wish,
you want the house? Sorry.
right? Like, welcome to my, like, hello, welcome to my crib.
Welcome to my
basically. Like,
crib.
it was, it was really fun and just something that I felt was able to, I don't know, bring a more of a grounding element to a conference that was held in my city. And sort of share that personal touch with people of like,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
really do live here, you know?
Mm-hmm. It is that personal touch, and it is that family thing we keep coming back to of just feeling like we're all family and like, hey, come over to my home and like
Yeah.
be here. And so
It was
we chatted for
nice.
quite a while. Your mom was there
Last-
too. We chatted.
Yeah, like just a nice little chit chat. And it's cool because last June when I visited some of our friends with albinism who live on Long Island, I got a house tour from Donna. So I feel like I got to sort of
yeah.
repay the favor.
Repay it. I know. I love it. And Donna was like, this is where you always sit at Zoom, like on Zoom. Like
My wallpaper.
It was just so great. It was so great.
So fun.
And it's so funny because then they left and Cassandra's mom left with them. They all left together. And Cass and I, like, we're best friends. Like, being together is, like, one of our favorite things. Like, we love each other's company. I was so excited to be there. We were so tired, you guys. We were just, like, literally just, like, doom scrolling next to each other on the couch and could not even say a word. Like, we could not speak. But you know you're good friends when you can do that, though.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
you know,
the exhaustion
like-
hit us like
it hit us like a
nothing.
wall.
Yeah.
We could not function. And so we were looking at each other and we were like, we know we have to record this pod, but how? How? And we were like, you know what we could do instead? Girl dinner and watch Phineas and Ferb.
That's exactly what we did. There was nothing else that we could have done. We just didn't have the capacity for anything more.
No, and I had to get up at 4 a.m. again. And so I was like, we're not doing this. So yeah, we were like eating leftovers from the French
From the shower.
place from the shower.
Truly
which were
so
good.
blessed that I got to come home with various quiches. The quiches are
Right?
life-changing
So
from
good.
this restaurant. So,
good.
wow,
The
what a
desserts were
treat.
great too.
The desserts
Oh,
were really
it was-
awesome. I still have like
was hitting.
so many cookies in my house, girl. They're massive.
Well, I mean, they are massive. They're like as big as our heads. And so we're just like, it feels like a fever dream sitting there eating cookies, watching Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
Like, because we were both so out of it. Just like, so out of it. I could barely even
So
tell you what the
out of it.
episode even was.
I don't know.
I don't. I really couldn't tell you. And so after that, we were kind of like, all right, let's get ready for bed.
Time to just be done with the day.
Time to be done with the day. And then I flew back and I actually saw our friend Bianca in the airport. And it was so funny because I'm sitting there and I see a black dog first is the first thing I see. And then I see this girl with light blonde hair, and I was like, Bianca, I just like took a risk, and I was like, listen, if it's not her, then she's not going to turn around. But she turned around. And so we both had like an hour and a half to wait. So we chatted for a while, and that was fun. It makes the time go by when you see somebody in the airport at these things, so
nice.
Yeah. And then that was it, guys. That I know that was kind of a long recap, but it was fun for us to relive it through this recap, and it's fun for us to have this as a time capsule forever to come back and relive these memories, because if you don't say them all right after it happens, you're going to forget a lot of things. And I'm glad we have these pods, even just for us to be like, oh, remember that conference and all the things we did. And
2 years is a long
honestly,
time.
I don't know about you, like it was maybe one of my favorite conferences in a while. I just think it was like a really good vibes, and a lot of our favorite people were there. And it being in your hometown was just special. Like there was something special about it. I don't know. Like it was a really good one.
I think that the people who were there all like seemed to really enjoy themselves, and I felt a personal obligation that people enjoy themselves, even though I have no control over that, because this is my city, and I'm like, I want people to love it because I love it here.
Right.
I think they really did. I think people got out and about. They enjoyed the activities. They enjoyed each other's company, and honestly, that's really all we can ask. And Noah is such a fun social time. One thing that was actually really funny is that I didn't fully realize, because when you make changes in your own life, they're more gradual to you.
I'm laughing already.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So like little by little over the past couple of years, like I've made some changes that I didn't think were super significant, but when I look back at the last con, I'm like, oh wow, I looked really different this con, because I don't really wear glasses anymore. I've been wearing contacts for several months now, and I always, for many cons since probably 2016, I always had short hair of some kind, a pixie cut, a bob, something.
In different colors too.
In different colors. And this year, I mean, I've been growing up my hair for almost 2 years, but post I would say San Diego, my goodness, post Orange County Con, and people did not know who I was. That's so
true. Like many times.
People would introduce themselves and be like, "Oh wow, like I only knew you from your voice." Like,
That was so funny. That happened so many times. Surprise! It's me. Well, it is funny. Like, not just you. There were a few people actually who it had been 2 years, which 2 years doesn't seem maybe that long, but it totally kind of is, because there were a few people I saw, especially the younger ones, that like at that age it does make a big difference, where I was like, oh, that's you. Like it is, especially for low vision people too. Like we're like, oh, we recognize you from your haircut, and if it's different, we're going to be confused.
We don't know who you are.
If you don't have your regular glasses on, we're confused.
Who are you? Yeah, Caroline, I feel like is extra tall now.
Oh yeah, very tall. Yeah.
It's, wild to see. And like, it's just, I mean, this is super sappy, but it's like, just like watching people grow up in Noah. I'm like,
I know.
It's so sentimental.
Yeah. Speaking of Caroline, she's a listener, and so shout out. But my sister was going through the pictures and asking me who that was, and I was like, she's Caroline. She's like, and I said something like, I've known her since she was 12 or something, and it made me feel. I was like, oh, like that's crazy. Like
you actually dug up a really old photo of you and Bianca.
Yes. So it was Bianca that remembered that we had taken that photo.
Wow.
And I was like, I have it somewhere, and I dug it up, and it made me feel very old, because I was almost her age now in that picture. Gosh. I was 20 and she's 22, and you guys don't know who these people are. But anyway, we've just known these people forever. Like we've grown up with these people, they've grown up with us, and to see people every 2 years and be like, oh, you have a baby now, or oh, you changed jobs, or oh, you moved, oh, you cut your hair, oh, whatever. It's just cool. It's really cool.
Just cool. I love that we get to do this and these recaps and enjoy yet another NoahCon.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. It was great.
Delightful.
And I'm glad. Yeah. Yeah. Very delightful. And I think it's for the best that we did this pod right now, because if we had tried to do it at your condo, we would have had no brains to function. So
not a single cell.
Not a single cell. No.
But for anyone who was there and we got to interact with, like, just thank you for being there. It was so good seeing everyone, and
it really was.
I'm so sad just thinking that it's going to be another 2 whole years before we see a lot of our friends again, but it'll be well worth it.
It will. It will. Thank you all for listening. We love you all, and we hope you have a great next 2 weeks.
Bye.